Okay. Okay. Good evening, everyone, and Mazel Tov. We are so happy for you, Elazar and Yamit, and for the whole family, for the lighters, for the Appels and the Mailses, the whole extended mishpacha. Layla and I are so happy to have been at the wedding last night, to participated. And we're happy to participate virtually now from Monterey, Tennessee. Now, you may be wondering where Monterey, Tennessee is. We are somewhere east of Nashville. So we've got about 4 hours left to our driving. So I'm assuming that means we're about a half hour east of Nashville right now. And this worked out perfect. We just pulled over into a hotel. I asked a very nice lady at the desk. I said, I've got an important conference call to take part in. Can I possibly use a boardroom or a meeting room? And she said, sure, go for it. So here we are in this motel, in a hotel's meeting room in Monterey, Tennessee. Layla had to step outside for a minute, but she's here too. But we wish you a great big mazel tov. And these are, what an example of the wonders of technology, that here we are, you're in Baltimore. We saw the pictures that you sent, how beautiful it's set up for the Sheva Berachos, and we're able to participate virtually. This is wonderful, absolutely wonderful. So thank you, Micha and Penina. Thank you for making this possible. We're so glad to be part of it in this little way. So I know that you've been enjoying a wonderful meal. You've been singing, and I'm sure there's been other Divrei Torah as well. So I want to share one short Dvar Torah with you. But before we share this Dvar Torah, I just want to say, as happy as we were to celebrate together last night, we all know, and we were all thinking about some people that we wish could have been with us celebrating. Mom and dad in Israel, as you know them, Elazar and Yamit, as Bubby and Zaidi. We know that they were watching. They told me, I spoke with them this morning, they were amazed how good the feed was and how they were able to participate. And also, it was so nice seeing you celebrate with all your siblings, Elazar. But we know that Devora wasn't there, but she was there in spirit. And we know that everyone was keeping her posted. Layla told me she was texting to Chaya the whole time, enjoying the video feed as well. We sent over pictures. We know everyone sent over pictures. So we were all clearly thinking of her. And there was a lot of davening going on last night. Well, you were under the chuppah and you were enjoying the moment. There was so much tefillos, so many tefillos that were taking place. We were thinking of all the Cholei Yisrael, all those who need a refuah shalema. We were thinking mostly so sincerely about Devora. We were thinking about the situation in Israel. Who could get our hearts off of what's going on in Israel? As Moshe did a great job singing in Mishkachech Yerushalayim, we were thinking of the current situation in Israel. We were thinking of those captives, and we daven to HaKadosh Baruch Hu, they should all be returned to their families in good health as soon as possible. We were all thinking of the Chayalei Tzahal, that they should accomplish what they've been sent to do, and they should return safely to their families as soon as possible as well. And we were all thinking of all of Am Yisrael, anyone who's in harm's way. Hashem should answer all of our tefillos, together with the tefillos we have for you, Elazar and Yamit, that you should share a wonderful future together. And HaKadosh Baruch Hu should answer everyone's tefillos letova, and we should see a positive result from them as soon as possible. I want to share one very short Dvar Torah with you. I had a memory as last week, I was really thinking a little bit about Elazar in his childhood. And I was thinking, I had a very unique seat at the table, you might say. I'm the youngest of our siblings in the family. There's 5 of us. So Hannah, our sister, Hannah, she's the oldest, and I'm the youngest. We jokingly say we're the bookends of the family. And because I'm 13 years younger than Hannah, in a certain way, I kind of had the role of almost being like a big brother, in a sense, to my nieces and nephews, to Hannah's, to Hannah and Yehuda's children. And it was a privilege. I remember so many times coming home from yeshiva, could have been for Pesach, Sukkot, the summer, whatever it was. And I would get schlepped along on whatever family trip that they were going on. They always needed an extra set of hands. And I was happy to join. There were some really great experiences that we had together. Sometimes it was just laying on the floor and wrestling with all of the guys. They'd pounce on me and, jump on me. And, that was great as well. But I remember something about Elazar specifically. And that when Elazar was a little boy, there was one passion that he had. I'm going to guess he was probably about 4 or 5 years old. And Elazar was absolutely passionate about trains. Do you remember that, Elazar? Oh my gosh, was he passionate about trains? And even had this conductor's hat. Do you remember that conductor's hat? Oh my God, he almost went to sleep in the conductor's hat. Oh my gosh, he was so passionate about trains. And he loved it. He was fascinated by every aspect about trains, how they moved, the engineering. It was fascinating to see a little boy that what he was so taken with trains. And my sister Achana, she would find these opportunities sometimes to go to as a trip with the children to either a train museum or where there was real working locomotives where we could take a close look. And there was one time that we went as a family to one of these. Again, I must have been home from yeshiva. It was either Pesach, Sukkot, maybe it was a Cholamoy trip. I don't remember if it was the summer, whatever it was. And I was assigned to keep an eye on some of the kids. And I don't know what happened. I must have been distracted. It could have been from one of Elazar's siblings. I don't know what it was, but I realized that, oh my gosh, I can't find Elazar. I lost sight of him. Oh my God, Hannah's going to kill me. Hannah's going to kill me. Forget what happens to Elazar here, but I'm dead. I don't see where he is. And soon enough, I spotted him. He was down very close. He was checking out something on one of the trains. He really wanted to see, I think, the couplings, how they came together. He was inspecting it, right up to it. So I found him. Thank God he was okay. But it was, I still think back about this. It was absolutely fascinating. As a young boy, he was just fascinated by this. He couldn't get enough about understanding how trains worked, the engineering, everything behind it. And he ran off to look at it. Gave me a scare, I should say, but we found them and it was all good. And then it hit me that there's such a connection to the Parsha that Elazar just had his Ofra. And that was Parshas Vayechi. Because at the end of Parshas Vayechi, after Yaakov Avinu passes away, so all the Shvatim go back to Eretz Yisrael. They go back to bury him in Hebron, in the Maris HaMachpelah. And when they return to Mitzrayim, after they're back in Egypt, all of a sudden the Psukim tell us that the brothers are very, very nervous, that Yosef is plotting some type of revenge, that he wants to get them. And the pasuk says, it's in Perek Nun, it's pasuk Tesvav, Vayiru achei Yosef kimes aviyem. As soon as the Shvatim see that their father Yaakov is dead, Vayomru, and they say, Lu yistimenu Yosef. Maybe Yosef is going to hate us. Maybe Yosef is plotting some kind of evil plan that he wants to get us. So the Mefarshim are bothered by what triggered this, what made them panic as soon as Yaakov died, that maybe Yosef is plotting to take revenge on them. And you'll find different approaches. The Medrash Rabbah has a very practical approach. I want to read it to you. The Medrash Rabbah quotes that one of the Tanoim, Rav Yitzchak Amar, that on their way back from burying Yaakov Avinu, kind of like what's going on nowadays. You're on the highway, you need a rest break every now and then. We're at a rest break right now. So they're on the road coming back from Hebron to Mitzrayim. And Rav Yitzchak says, Rav Yitzchak Amar, Halach vehetzitz ba'oso abor. They hit the spot, they hit the pit that Yosef had been thrown into when he had went to check on his brothers in Shechem. He found the actual bore, the actual pit that he had been thrown into, and from that bore he had been sold to the Ishmaelim, and that's how he ended up in Mitzrayim. So Yosef, when they took a stop, he says, oh my gosh, this all looks familiar over here, and he went to take a look at that bore. Amar Reb Tanchuma, hulo niskavin ela l'shem shemayim. So he says that when Yosef was going to look at that bore, he had the best of intents. He was thinking for ruchnius reasons that he was going to look in that bore. And the Mefarshim say, what does that mean? What does it mean he was niskaven l'shem shemayim? The Eitz Yosef, the parish right there on the Medrash says, what did he mean? Levarich alav. He wanted to make a bracha. There's a whole siman in Shulchan Aruch. It's siman Reish Yud Ches. There's all siman that if a person sees a spot where a nace, they experience the miracle, there's a special bracha that should be recited. So Yosef, when he saw that spot, he says, this is fantastic. Of all the places we could have stopped to give our donkeys something to drink, whatever the reason they took that stop, that rest stop on the highway right there, this is the spot where the bar is. What an opportunity. There's a bracha to be recited. And he goes to make that bracha of Sha'asali Nes b'makom hazeh. That's why Yosef went to go check out that bar. The problem was he didn't communicate this to the brothers. He didn't explain why he was going to look at that bar. So Amar Rebbe Tamchuma, hulo niskaven elo l'shem shemayim. Yosef had the best of intentions when he went to go to look at that bar and to study it. Vehem lo amru kain, but they didn't suspect that. They were very nervous. Elo lu yistamenu Yosef. They were said, uh-oh, our goose is cooked. We're finished now. Yosef just saw that bar. It brought back all of the experiences. It made him remember everything that went on. we're done. He's going to exact revenge on us now. And that's why they concoct this whole story at the end of Parshas Vayechi. It wasn't true that they said that our father told us before he passed away that you're not supposed to take revenge. You're supposed to forgive us. It was sheker, but they were lying mipnei hashalom, that they thought that this is what they needed to do to save their necks. But that was all a lie. But what happens here, with the way the Medrash is explaining it, is you can have the same action take place, the same Maisa, the same action took place. Yosef had the best of intentions, but the brothers didn't. And what could have solved that? What could have brought them all on the same page to make it that the brothers did not panic? Communication. If only Yosef had gone ahead and told everyone, had let them know, fellas, wait right here. That's the bar. I know you recognize it too. I recognize it. There's a bracha I have to say, because I was saved. That was a terrible situation. I was in that bar. It was full of poisonous serpents. It was full of nechashim and akrabim, the Mefarshim say, and I was saved. I was taken out of there, and when I could have ended up just a slave the rest of my life, here I am. I'm a Mishnah Lamelech. I'm a viceroy in Egypt. Magical things have happened to me. I need to make a bracha. If he had only communicated this to the brothers, that would have gone such a long way. They wouldn't have felt that sense of panic, and they wouldn't have had to concoct that whole story, making up this idea that Yaakov had told them before he died. So you see that Sefer Berachos ends by telling us how important communication is that someone could have the best of intentions, like what Yosef had, the best of intentions, but we can't expect that the people around us are going to understand what we're doing. The only way to make certain that we're all on the same page is to communicate with one another. And if we do communicate, we could avoid so many potential points for conflict. And we all know that very wise adage that they attribute to Benjamin Franklin, that they always say an ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure. And this is a great example of it. With communication, we can't assume the people in our lives, no matter how much we care about them, we can't assume that they're mind readers. We can't assume that they know exactly what's going through our minds. And just because I know it's so clear to me what I'm thinking, the other party understands that as well. The key, if we want to avoid conflict, if we want to avoid misunderstanding, if we want to promote shalom, is communication. And here we are at celebrating the Sheva Berachos. We all had such a chance last night to celebrate with Elazar and Yamit. It was so clear how happy they were. They're starting this new chapter of their lives together, and everyone is wishing them a beautiful future. Everyone who was there last night, it was on everyone's lips how happy everyone was for the new couple, and everyone continues to wish them the very best. But the greatest tool that they can use and make sure that they have in their tool chest to promote shalom bayis, promote everything moving forward, to make certain that they'll do everything they can to their hishtadlus, all of their efforts to make certain that they'll have a beautiful future together, is to utilize that very important tool of communication, not to assume that the other party, whether it's Elazar to Yamit, Yamit to Elazar, not to assume that the other party is mind readers, and be certain to communicate. If we do so, we can avoid so many potential thorny situations. And that's, I think, a wonderful way for Sefer Berachos to come to a close, because there were so many instances in Sefer Berachos where a lack of communication caused problems. Here's Sefer Berachos coming to a close, reminding us that even if it's the kavanas were l'shem shemayim, as the Medrash says, without communication, we could have terrible friction. So our bracha, our heartfelt bracha, our collective bracha for Elazar, for Yamit, is of course that they should share a beautiful future together, filled with bracha, hatzlacha, health, happiness, and all good. But also what we add to that bracha is they should utilize this tool that the Medrash is reminding us of just how important it is to promote communication, to make certain to let the important people in our lives, and there's no one more important than our spouse, to let them know what's going on, why I'm doing what I'm doing, where I'm going. No one should arrive at any faulty conclusions. The best way to avoid all that is to communicate. So we're confident that the two of you, the affection that you clearly have for one another, the hopes and the aspirations that you have of the future you'd like to build together, we know that it's all positive, and we know you're going to do everything possible to bring all of those dreams to fruition and make them all a reality. And we're all certain that you'll utilize that tool of communication, and that'll go such a long way in making certain that all of the brachas that we're sharing with you and that we're going to recite, or you're going to recite at Sheva Berachos soon, that they'll all be mekuyim, they'll all be fulfilled. because of the fact that you'll be doing everything on your end, all of the hishtadlus, all the efforts that you can make to make certain that you'll build a bayis neman b'Yisrael. So on behalf of all the family, those who are with you and those who are with you in spirit, like we are right now, we wish you a great big mazel tov. Thanks for giving us all a reason to celebrate at a time when we all need simcha, when we all need celebration. Elazar and Yamit, we wish you the very best, and we're confident that with your work and with all of our blessings and the support of so many, everyone loves you, everyone embraces you both as a couple. We're certain that HaKadosh Baruch Hu will do likewise, and will make certain, we'll see to it that you will be able to build a bayis neman b'Yisrael. And with that, we wish you a heartfelt mazel tov. Mazel tov. In regards from Layla. Mazel tov. Have a good night. Enjoy the rest of the evening.
Kiva, thank you.
Our pleasure. And Elazar, you remember that about the trains, right? I'm telling you, it was what?
I don't deny it.
Yeah, but I'm saying I was fascinated. It wasn't just that he liked watching the trains. He wanted to understand how it all worked. As a little guy, he wanted to understand how it all worked and all came together, connected. I thought that was incredible. Have a good night. Enjoy the evening, everyone.
Safe travels. Safe travels.
You got it. You got it. Have a good night. And mazel tov, Hannah and Yehuda, to Chana and Yehuda, and mazel tov to the lighters. We're so happy to celebrate with you.
Yeah.